Hey guys, September is almost over, which means we are wrapping up quarter 3, and I thought I would do a quick update here in my Hobonichi Cousin. I started this planner in January. This is a January start Hobonichi Cousin. This is the A5 size, so this is the largest option that Hobonichi offers. This has monthly, weekly, and daily pages, and I've managed to find a way to use all 3 of those within my planner and journaling system. The Hobonichi Cousin is primarily my archive, is what I call it, so it has a really heavy function of memory keeping for me, along with taking all the bits and pieces from other planners that I like to use throughout the year and collecting it into one place, so I have one book to put on the shelf at the end of the year. I don't keep any of my bullet journals at the end of the year. I don't keep any of my ring planning inserts. If you've seen any of those videos, this is the only thing that I intend to keep at the end of 2021. It's what I did in 2019, and it's worked out really well for me. So if you have not seen any of my other Hobonichi Cousin videos, I love this portion of this planner. This is what I call the Calendex. I think it's also could be utilized as a future log, but what I do is I write down what I've written on the daily pages, and then from there I color code based on category so that I can find information, say next year when I'm looking back at 2020 and I'm looking for a particular memory or maybe a list or a tracker or some reference information. Maybe I knew I wrote down some of my car insurance info for that year. This helps me find those items a little bit faster. I haven't gone back and indexed September yet. I kind of do that as needed or once I start looking for something, and then typically it's not done yet. I'll sit down and just do this all in one go. I write out what's on the page using a Uni Jetstream in 0.5, which is a ballpoint pen, and then I color code using mild liners. If you're curious, this is my current key for what is on my daily pages. This is still what I'm doing for quarter 3, and I will probably continue that into quarter 4. I find it to be just a really good way of utilizing the spread and making the daily pages feel a little more accessible. All right, so the monthlies for quarter 3, I use the same way. I do a highlight of the day with a little bit of a character sticker, and I'll just write in what that was. I love this sort of like a visual gratitude journal along with finding the highlights within that month. In August, I made a little bit of a shift. I talked about this in my mid-year update since that one went up a little bit later, but I've started doing more pre-planning up at the top along with putting in more appointment-based information because I think that this is going to be a little bit more functional when I'm looking back the year before. So if I had a doctor's appointment, I'm putting that right up top so that I know I can find it a little bit quicker. I also switched from using my Uni Jetstream in my monthlies to the Tombow mono drawing pen. I will link both pens in the description box for you if you guys want to see what those are, but this is a felt tip pen, so it looks quite a bit bolder than the Uni Jetstream, but it does take a little bit more time to dry, so be aware of that. I love how this month turned out. I have also switched from alternating my character stickers between corners to doing them all in the same to see if it would look more uniform. I like both, but it's kind of fun just to do something a little bit different. This sticker down here is from RandiDOTPlans. This was a sticker in her Patreon kit. I am a patron of hers, and I get a tier where she will actually send physical stickers to me, and I loved this color, so I put that in for the month of August. September is the month we are currently in. I've got a few days left, but I continued the same thing except for I've kind of foregone the habit tracker because I filled this all in after the fact. This really isn't helping me stay on top of my habits, and my year-long habits I'm actually going to be migrating onto the notes pages in the very back here. So I thought to make this feel a little bit more functional, I would just kind of write down my big monthly tasks that I want to get done for the month. So far, I'm kind of hit or miss on this. I'm not sure if I will do this for the next quarter, but it was fun to try something new. All right, so doing the weeklies, I'll flip through these as I talk about it. This process has remained pretty similar for me over the entire year. Actually, from last year to this year, I pre-plan in here, and then at the end of the day I fill in additional tasks that I accomplished along with memories, notes, things that I might have written on a daily page in a different planner. That way it is all in one place, and this is like my primary memory keeper, if that makes sense. I do all my habit trackers in my sidebar columns, and these I do find very functional for me to see those on a weekly basis. The main change I really made to my planning style this quarter is I started using a highlighter or a Tombow. This is a zebra mild liner in the light gray, and I would time block out what my meetings were. I found that to be a very minimal way of setting that time aside for whatever the event was, and it's something that I've kind of continued through this entire quarter. And I've done something similar in the past, but just like using the chisel tip of the mild liners, I think that makes it look super clean, and definitely really like doing that. And between August and September, I had this really gorgeous Harry Potter Hogwarts kit from StarlightPaperStudio that I trimmed down using a ruler just so it would be more Hobonichi Cousin friendly. This is sized for 1.5 inch boxes, and the Hobonichi is about 4 millimeters short of that. I don't have it converted to inches. I just know what I need to do to trim the stickers down. But I will take a sticker kit and I will trim it down and use it for at least 4 weeks, if not 5 or 6. And I definitely spread this one out. I love the tones of this kit, and if you find that you're still missing some sticker kits, I think they're super easy to trim down and continue to use, or like off center, and I still love the way that that looks. This is my current week. I tab that off using a Post-it brand repositionable tab, and then I just cover it with washi if you are curious about that. And definitely still love this planner. I bounce around between using the Tombow mono drawing pen in 01 along with the Uni Jetstream in 0.5 for my writing within these spreads. It just depends on if I want a bolder look or not, but I definitely like both, and I use both interchangeably within these planners, but not within the spreads themselves. I kind of stick to the same pen throughout the entire week. And this is next week. I've gone ahead and pre-planned. I used some leftovers from a kit I still had in my stash, and I will pre-plan this out usually the Friday or the Saturday before the week starts, and then I will check things off as I go, and at the end of the day sort of like true it up between my reading planner and my Hobonichi Cousin. Finally, flipping back to my daily pages from this quarter, I haven't made a whole lot of changes other than just putting more attention on doing memory keeping spreads within these daily pages. I find at this point in the year I have less information that I really need to index and reference, or projects that I really need to work through, or at least, you know, me personally, I found that I had a little bit less this quarter than I have in the past. So it's been a lot more journaling and a lot more memory keeping, and doing that memory keeping a little bit more decoratively, and I am logging it as memories. But I think honestly, it's something that I'm really enjoying, just like taking more time to write about my day, what I enjoy, the little things, and kind of get creative with it in a little bit of a different way. In my weekly spreads, I will write down like what we're doing, and I will blog memories in there as well. But this is a little bit more about like how I feel about that memory, how it made me feel, things I want to remember about that specific moment, and kind of compounding on it. I'm also keeping track of like favorite items, quarantine routines, things like that I think will be fun to look back at 2020 as a whole to see, you know, what were we doing for exercise? What were we doing for our work schedules? How did we manage both working from home at the same time without killing each other? And just like little things like that I think will be fun. I've been incorporating a little bit more photos along with stickers from the kits that I mentioned earlier from RandiDOTPlans. You will definitely see that I have blank pages, and I may go back and fill them in. I may leave them blank. I don't really worry about it all that much, other than just trying to stay as consistent as I can within this planner. And still I'm finding that while the weekly spreads are like the ones I share the most, the daily pages have been really good for me just to like take time to journal every day, work through thoughts on paper and be able to turn the page and kind of let that go, and that works out really well for me. I will start writing about the first thing that pops into my head and just kind of let it go from there. Sometimes it's creative writing, sometimes I am venting, and sometimes it is, you know, fun memories about that day that I want to expand on. Here at the end of the month, I am playing around with integrating my prayer journal, which I've traditionally done in a Hobonichi Weeks Mega, and looking to see if I can move this into the daily page, mostly because I find that I really love this prayer journaling and it's something I want to hang on to, and this is the planner I like to keep. And also because, as you can see, throughout the year, there's been more and more blank pages in here, and I find it's because the journaling just takes a certain amount of time, and I think I'm starting to get a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of time it does take to do all this journaling. And while I enjoy the process and I don't want to give the journaling up, I think if I integrate a little bit more of something that I was already doing into this, so I can kind of take one more notebook out of my system, that could work well. I don't know if I'll stick with it. I don't know if that's going to work for me best long term, but it's something I'm trying the rest of this month and I may pursue into Q4. So hopefully that helped give you a brief look into my planner, what I've been doing for the last 3 months. If you are also using a Hobonichi Cousin, let me know in the comments down below. If you have made it this long, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.